It's Monday, and what I want to do today is just really kind of an experiment, just play, which is what it's all about anyway. But in the journal, what I've done to this page, and this is something I have started doing lately, I just kind of stumbled across it, and it's a good idea. I've gotten where in my journals I lay down strips of wide masking tape. Don't know if you can see or not. Let's zoom in and see if you can see the strips of masking tape that I have laid down over this page. And then I gesso over the top of it. I have found that provides a really good base to work on. My pages don't curl as much. It gives it a little bit of body and thickness so that it's not a flimsy page, and it's just a good surface. So that's something I have just recently started doing in my journals, is laying down those strips of masking tape, gesso over them. Now what I have here, this is a stamp that I carved myself out of it's the rubber stuff you can buy and carve, and then I just glue them to a block. But this is a face that I had carved, and what I'm doing today is I have stamped it just black acrylic paint, and I've stamped it in the middle of this page. And what I'm going to do now is just take off and see what happens. I have nothing in mind for this. I'm not thinking about this. There is just something in the middle of the page, and I'm gonna see where it goes. So let's just check it out and find out. Should be fun. Well, I gotta tell you, this was interesting. This is one of those pieces that I like a lot of things about it. As a whole, I'm getting more used to it, but it's a different piece, and it is one that's growing on me. There for a while, I was kind of thinking I'm going to abandon this. I'm not going to publish this. But the more I thought about it, I thought, that's what journaling's all about. It's about experiment and playing and having fun. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, make it work or forget it or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's your journal. So I decided I definitely needed to share this piece with you. I would love to know what your feedback is on it because it is different. It is so different. Of course, we started out with the stamp in the middle. And of course, that was a face, so it was a no-brainer that it was going to go to a face. I put this piece of tissue paper up here, and my original idea for this was a big hat. But I don't think it reads that way, but that was my intentions. I put some strips of paper tape down here just randomly, and that was kind of interesting because I didn't plan on the arms. I didn't plan on it looking like that. And just the laying down of the paper tape and the way the paint was, it just was there. So I added a few black lines and colored in some areas, and it just worked. And I love it when that happens, that spontaneity. You saw me draw from my prompt jar where I have words written down. I just kind of wanted to see if there was something else, and clock was the word I drew out. And at the time I thought, I don't know, so I put a clock in there, but obviously it wasn't part of this piece. But there were circles there. There were circles forming and there, so I just went with the circle thing and made it just kind of bubbly and all these circles. This little piece here, and I'm going to zoom in because I want you to see, this was where I had punched with my hole punch, and these were the stencil parts left over, and they were hooked together. And I've had those for quite a while. I just thought they looked like a pair of glasses, and I wanted to use them, and this just seemed like the perfect one to use them in. I don't know. The bird I just felt like she had to have a bird on her shoulder. So there's the bird. The problem I encountered here was with the beak or nose. I put this great big bulbous nose on there, but it just didn't look right. So it was paper tape, and I peeled it up. And when I did, a little bit of the paint came off underneath, and this little perfect little fun curved beak appeared. And so I just went with it, made it a fun piece. What other problems here? The other problem that I had was with my paints. Now I have these bottles, and I put acrylic paint in them and dilute them because I like to paint kind of draw paint and draw. And this works real well for that. The problem with it is, and the thing you have to watch out if you're going to do that, is getting the right dilution, and there's no measurement. You just kind of have to get a feel for it. Sometimes I get it too thin, and my white was too thin when I went working on this, and I had some problems with it coming out too fast and too much. The other thing that happens sometimes when the bottle is full, when you squeeze it out, it will bubble, and you get all these bubbles that you have to deal with. And then sometimes maybe you go to squeeze it. I try to squeeze it out on my palette first, because sometimes there's a clot in the end of it and it just bursts forth and go everywhere. So even though I love painting with these, they're tricky. You got to work with them. But you do get some fun results, and I like drawing with them. So there it is. I think it turned out to be a fun piece. I titled it Festive. I've got Festive written down here, because it definitely is festive, and just another exercise, another fun thing to do. So like I said, I'd like to get your feedback on how you like this piece. I think it's different for sure, but it was fun to do. So until next Monday, we'll see what happens then. Take care. Have a good week. Bye-bye.